great. Over to Kevin.
Thanks, Paula. Firstly, can I thank the team who organised today's event and to all our contributors for attending. It's much appreciated. I think this convention is a long overdue opportunity for our activists and our organisers in the North West to improve and share our knowledge of organising, and we've made a great start on that, I think, with the speakers we've had, to acquire and share our skills on organising, and to tap into UNISON's greatest asset, which is our activists and our members. Now, we're a big organisation, and we do achieve things for our members, but we should not kid ourselves. We might be strong enough to carry on if these were ordinary times, but these are not ordinary times. The challenges we face are immense. The main sectors we operate in are shrinking fast, and we've not been strong enough, as we've heard from Joe, to prevent thousands of jobs being lost in the public sector. These sectors are becoming more fragmented, and we've not been strong enough over the last 25, 30 years to prevent privatisation and marketisation taking hold. Our collective agreements and established pay mechanisms are under threat or are not delivering. We're strong enough to engage in national industrial action, in local government and health and higher education recently. We got some improvements for our members, but we were not strong enough to sustain that action and win workers the level of pay rises that they deserve. We face a current government that is hostile to workers and hostile to unions. They've attacked our individual employment rights and plan further attacks on how unions operate and the laws around industrial action. 147 years ago, the TUC was founded in this building in the Congress room, and at that time strikes were illegal. In 3 years' time, when we celebrate the 150th anniversary, strikes, if the Tories return to power, will be to all intents and purposes illegal again. As a minimum, we'll require a 50% turnout, and in that event of a 50% turnout, we will need 80% yes votes. Absolutely impossible in national ballots. So we've not been strong enough to prevent the law becoming increasingly hostile to working people. We're not winning enough. And if we continue as we are, as we've heard, with the challenges we face, we will start to decline. And decline in membership, in activism, and in resources, and ultimately in our power as a union. So we have a choice. We continue as we are and accept decline, or we step up our organising efforts and we build a stronger union this year and in future years. Often when discussing organising and reading books about organising, you come across references to creating a new culture of organising. And that's not our starting point in UNISON. As Joe mentioned, we start from a good base. We have a member-led culture. We have an activist base and a branch network that is unique in the British trade union movement. In every town and city, you will have at least 2 or 3 UNISON branches organised. Our branch network is the skeleton, muscles and nerve system that leads to union activity on the ground. And that is our starting point. But these changes in our external environment and weaknesses in our organisation means we must step up our organising and representation activities. And an important part of that is maximising the resources that we allocate to organising. Another organising buzzword is building union power in the workplace. And I think this is a vitally important concept. As Richard said, at macroeconomic level, the decline in union power since 1980, membership halved, density more than halved, has been the main cause of rising inequality in the past 35 years. And it's not only Thomas Piketty says that, as per Richard's chart. Researchers at the International Monetary Fund last week published a report confirming this, and that report was titled Power from the People. I recommend that you read it online. At national level, this leads to the marginalisation of unions in political life. We're already regarded as the third parties in politics under the law. We see now that in the institutional structures of employment, we are facing derecognition, removal of union facilities and check-off. And even in the NHS, where there's been a partnership culture, we were not even consulted as a union on the recent NHS developments around devolution. So industrially, it means that we lack the organisational capacity to translate our intentions into organisational action too often. But on the other hand, more positively, effective union power in the workplace brings us victories. Too many to mention them all in this region, but we did defeat privatisation at the University of Central Lancashire the year before last. We insourced home care at Stockport. We insourced engineering at Sefton. We kept payroll services in-house at Pennine Acute Transport. And only last week, a brilliant campaign in Liverpool, led by workers and families, but supported by the union, stopped the closure of 17 Sure Start centres. These are just a few examples of effective union power by our branches in the North West. And just to set the scene for the workshops, I want to quickly run through our organising plan for 2015. Last year was a very successful year for us in organising terms in the North West. We recruited 25,400 new members, just under 500 new workplace reps. We surpassed our target of 25,000 new union members. That was a 13% increase on 2013, which in itself had been a 30% increase on 2012. So we've got a lot of momentum in the region. We were the only UNISON region that had a net increase in growth last year. And we did that through a combination in our branches and through our organisers of recruitment drives in different parts of the services, in local government in January, in health in May and so on. In September we targeted private companies. But then in November we had a new initiative where we took whole towns for union organising drives in Crewe, Preston, Warrington and Oldham, trying to innovate to keep these initiatives fresh. And all four of those periods resulted in decent spikes in recruitment, but nowhere near the spikes that we got when we took national strike action in local government in July and in health in October, where we recruited massively. We've deployed Phase 4 Fighting Fund organisers in our branches. During the first 2 quarters of those campaigns, we recruited nearly 3,000 members and 50 new stewards through our Fighting Fund organisers. We've got a new initiative in the last 12 months where our organisers, our full-time organisers, are working in teams, in target branches, doing organising interventions. The 3 teams last year did projects in 16 branches. They recruited nearly 2,000 new members, nearly 200 new stewards, and everywhere they've been, they've improved branch communications, supported activists, developed new stewards. And other initiatives we've taken on organising this year, we had our first North West Leadership School, which saw 30 promising new activists gather for a weekend of workshops and activities. We're trying to develop a new generation of activists, and we've also got 3 organisers working in areas around non-lead employers, associate employers, the fragmented sector, to identify new activists and strengthen the union in those employers. In the year ahead, we've stuck to 25,000. We've got the same level of resources going forward, so we thought it was reasonable to stick with a 25,000 target. And we're also looking to recruit 1,000 workplace reps in the North West this year. And based on the success of our interventions, last year we ran more campaigns in health in May. After the fortnight after the general election, we've got a 2-week campaign across health in the North West. Then in October we'll be in education, FE, HE in schools. And then in the November period we'll be in the private sector. So we've got a good plan in place to keep up this momentum, and we will continue to deploy our full-time organisers on branch support initiatives. We'll also be looking to sustain recruitment activity in branches once these organisers move out. And some good news is that the Fighting Fund is continuing nationally, and we'll be appointing 16 new organisers in May, 4 of which will be based in Cumbria. So we're keeping up good levels of organising capacity. Now, UNISON nationally has organised an initiative in the private sector, in private contractors, and we will be supporting that approach in accordance with the national priorities of the union. And we've also got a big initiative around stewards training, where we're looking to train at least 80% of new stewards in the year ahead. So we've struggled with that because of course cancellations and so on, but we're determined to raise our game on stewards training and also on the retraining of existing ERA activists, refresher training. We're looking to get at least 50% of all REA stewards retrained this year. We're continuing the leadership development programme. There will be another school in November, and applications are very welcome from activists here today. And not least, we've got this initiative, this high-profile initiative. It's about motivating activists. It's about driving the agenda within branches and the region. We've made a great start to 2015. We've recruited over 4,000 in the first 2 months. We're 9% up on the same period last year. But there's no room for complacency with the job losses, the redundancies, the retirements. I think we're going to be lucky if we stand still if we recruit 25,000, given the current trends of job losses. And in conclusion, we know organising works. We've got the evidence to show it works. And our vision is to build a renewed and strengthened UNISON, not just in our traditional employers, but in the new structures, public and private. And I hope today can be a springboard for making that vision a reality in the North West. So thanks for attending, thanks for listening.
Thanks very much, Kevin. I'm sure you will all agree that all speakers this morning have been absolutely fantastic and have really